Today I'm making wine goblets, last popular in the 1970s. They're not too hard to make in two pieces and then to join those pieces, but I want to make them in one piece for a few reasons, and I'll talk about those a little later. So here goes. I'm preparing some clay. I'm starting with a little under half a kilo of clay. So I'm centering my clay. I make sure my clay is really well prepared here. Clay that's well prepared is much easier to center. So I'm just bringing the clay up in a cone and then pushing back down. And now that my clay is centered, I'm going to bring the clay up into a peak so I have enough clay to form the cup, and then I can shape the clay underneath into the stem. So now I'm starting to form the stem. There are so many different kinds of stem you can make on a goblet. I want these to be quite stable, so I'm not going for a super thin stem. So as I form the stem, I'm making sure there's enough clay at the top to start to form the cup. And now I'm pushing down into the clay at the top, and I open out into a bowl shape. So I pull up the walls as I normally would, perhaps a little more gingerly. And I'm thinking about the volume or the amount of wine that I want the goblet to hold. Bring up the walls to the height and thickness that you need. And finally, I open out into a shape that I'm happy with. So now I'm going to shape the stem a little more. I'm just giving the stem a little more definition, and I'm smoothing the outside with a sponge. If the cup starts to wobble a little, don't worry, just gently guide it back to center. Now set aside to firm up to leather hard. So I've wired through my goblet and I'm ready to trim. So I upend my goblet and secure. I'm using a GIFFEN GRIP to secure my goblet, and I think it's a pretty handy tool if you're trimming things that are quite, how should we say, top heavy. Of course, you can always secure with clay lugs. So I've started to trim, and I'm just slowly working my way into the center of that stem. So of course the stem needs plenty of trimming, but I can really control how the stem is weighted as I trim. So earlier I mentioned that I like making wine goblets in one piece. The reason being, I think, is the stability, the balance, and the durability. So there's no joint at the weakest point, and I can really make sure that the cup and stem are in harmony as I'm throwing. The fun of these is that you can really experiment with the shapes of the stem and the cup. So bisque fire and glaze. And here's some I made earlier. I really like how these feel. I think they work really well for drinking red wine. I think they'd also be great for water, and I'm pretty sure they might work for some desserts as well. I'm really keen to experiment a little more. There's another way of making a one-piece goblet where the stem is hollow, so I'm keen to play around with that a little further. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that video. But for now, I'm super happy with these chunky, fun wine goblets. For more one-piece fun, check out my cake platter, where I make a cake platter all in one go. And as always, thanks for watching.